Easy guys, creatures here. So I just wanted to take you through some sort of base design work that I've been doing. That's relatively simple, so you can all go and experiment and sort of have your own take on it and have a go at it really. So I wanted to keep it relatively experimental in that sense. So what I've done just initially is put in one long D sharp note, just so we can basically just resample loads of stuff out of it rather than um, designing amazing sounds or whatever directly in Serum. So I'll show you what I've done in Serum. So I've got the Rick and Morty sort of Serum thing going on. But yeah, so basically I've just got two pretty simple waveforms that I've made myself just by starting with a sine wave with just one sort of harmonic, and then just drawing in some extra incremental harmonics, and then creating a second one where I've kind of changed the mix of those harmonics slightly, and then chosen the morph crossfade, and basically merge them together. I've done that on this one as well, and then with the modulation on the wavetable you can see the kind of difference that makes there. So yeah, kind of did that. I created a little or drew in a little envelope shape. It's just doing one bar, which these are all now following, so it kind of has some automation going over it, a little bit of hyperdimension, and a little bit of distortion. On top of that, there's obviously a little bit of FM going from A to B, hence why this one's pitched up, and then it's just slowly modulating across to that with a little filter where they're both going through, essentially. So not too much going on, like I say, but I'm just gonna put mono and legato on. A little trick as well is also to put the 4 times on. Not many people know about the quality thing in Serum, but it makes it sound a lot better if you do that, and a lot cleaner. But yeah, so here's the sound basically. So it's quite boring at the moment, but it's not really excuse me, supposed to be doing too much. So what I want to do is initially start with this and then just bounce that out. So freeze and flatten the track, or bounce into place if you're using Logic, or whatever kind of tactic you use to flatten it, just to get it into audio so we can sort of have a look at it, and start to create some different versions of it really. So I have a sub bass here, which I'm going to mute and just leave that for sub basically, which I'll do a bit later, probably not in this tutorial, but just in sort of in a tune or whatever, and then just start to try and create some more movement in the sound. So let's look at what's going on here. We've got this, so I just want to boost like some frequencies and try and get some nicer harmonics, so when we start to distort it, we've got nicer and a lot more going on in our sound essentially. I'm going to modulate this as well, with something simple like the LFO tool. Just modulate the frequencies that is. Obviously that's too much. I'm going to turn the speed of this LFO down because it's quite fast. So it's starting to have a bit more like harmonics and, you know, a lot more movement and things like that. It does sound a little bit weird, but I'm going to freeze it anyway. Obviously it starts to take longer the more processing that you have on, but flatten pretty much always stays true to being pretty quick. Cool, so more harmonics, but it's still got like some weird sub stuff in it, so I'm going to take the sub out. Too much. And then basically look at something yet again, like with some modulation. So maybe draw in some like more EQ stuff. Put like a little notch in, and then get you know, another LFO shaper. So the beauty with like subtractive synthesis is like a lot of the horrible stuff that's in the top end we're going to chop out later. So it doesn't really matter that we've got that stuff. It's, I know it doesn't sound the best at the moment, but it should sound good in the end. Quite weird. So cool, right, so let's have a look at like some more EQ, just to kind of take out some of this stuff and like boost around here. Cool. This is when I like to get something like Portal, because you can just start chopping things up and making them sound really weird. But you can also just use like, you know, auto filter or something like that, just to like get different shapes and stuff out of the sound. You can go really intricately through it and start just chopping things up and like actually designing the shape of the sound yourself, but kind of leaves room for people just to really do whatever it is that you want really, and just try and get some cool sounds out of things. It doesn't always give you the best sounds to work with, to be honest. It's just the nature of doing experimental types of processing and stuff, but it does always kind of give you at least one or two sounds that you're like, that was cool. I can use that in a tune or whatever. It's how I make all my basses, you know, 90% of the time. And then resampling from here is you know, how to kind of make them unique and sound like your own sounds from that sort of basis really. But I don't know, it's an interesting way of doing things. I know a lot of people like to just be super designers on Serum and Vital and all of that stuff, but you know, I don't know, I prefer to really try and get some weird sounds out of things and leave it to the sort of nature of processing a little bit, you know. So Portal. So like this, for instance. So now we're starting to get the shape of things that we really, you know, like and want to use. Bounce out, and then start chopping out the individual sounds that you like and then processing them individually. So like this one, for instance, create a new bass, new space, and so do this. It's got like some nice movement in it, so let's use like tempo or something a bit different. Get some reverb on it. And then like with Ableton, obviously we've got this sort of sample editor, and it's just amazing for creating different versions of basses and using different, you know, techniques and types of stretching to get different sounds. So using the same sound, for instance, if we like half it by 2, reverse it, we can yet again kind of use this as like another sort of bass down here. It's a little bit short, to be fair. Then we can use like a different distortion, so we can use like Tantrum or something, and just really push it and try and get like a different sound out of it. Bit foghorny. But yeah, it's like a cool little sound. Or we could try like the beats mode and try it on like 1/8 and like bring this down, and you get like some more movement. And if you do 16, so like you can just experiment with this for so long, just to get like some nice little basses out of what you're doing and stuff that will have different movement and kind of act differently, or, you know, but also because they're from the same sort of original source, they have a very similar sort of, I don't know, tone and sound, so they become almost coherent with the rest of the sounds that you're working with. So I don't know, it's a little bit weird, but if we pitch this down and like add a bit more reverb maybe. So there's like 2 different bass sounds. Here's a third one. Obviously needs to be done here. But with this, like, so let's get some EQ and start to shape it more how we want it to sound. That's much better. And then kind of get like thermal maybe. And then we'll add some more reverb and move the reverb to the end of the chain as well, if it will let me. Oh, yeah, just about. Angry Doberman. We can put this like earlier in the chain to get that movement into it, and then like have some more distortion along here. Might be a decent, might work, might not. Doesn't really quite have the same effect, so I might be able to turn it up a bit more and see if that kind of works. Okay, it's getting there. What should I use? Use the old sausage fattener. Little tip with this: if you turn the gain all the way down, you can just turn it all the way up, and it just adds like some nice warmth. Don't know actually. No, I'm not a big fan of that. I think it's nicer as a little stab. So let's kind of put it back to the end and kind of play around with it some more. But I guess like the aim of kind of showing you guys this sort of stuff is like, you know, to experiment with what you're doing, but look for the tones and look for those kind of things, and try and get some different sounds out of. Right, that's wicked. Some reverb at the end, and put it up a bit. So yes, we've got like those two. What else is going on? That bit looks like it could be interesting to play around with. You never know. It's definitely really high pitched. Ooh. Yeah, that's cool. What about down here? Maybe it sounds better. It's cool. So because now we've built some processing chains that work with it, you can kind of just chuck them in and get them working with those bits. See what else we can do. Right, let's reverse that for one. Pitch it down. That's weird. Maybe. What's this? So yeah, so like there's a load of cool sounds here, and then essentially that's, you know, what I do, and then save these sounds. So, you know, save them all to a folder, save them into a little sample bank or something like that, and from that point just then use them within a tune. Going back to the sub, you know, I wouldn't do much to it. I'd just sort of get a nice little EQ, like the Crave, chop all of the top out of it, just by flipping this round to like 130, 140, and yeah, just kind of use that as well as a sub and loop up sort of 8 bars from there. But yeah, you know, at the end of the day, it's just a couple of nice sounds which are cool, which if you guys want, let me know. I'll give you a copy of the sounds so you can have a play around with them or whatever. If you want, let me know in the comments. But yeah, let me know about the videos and what you guys are thinking, as obviously trying to make a bit of an improvement on this. But yeah, big ups, thanks for supporting the Patreon, and I'll speak to you all again soon.